What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Web Buzz Podcast. Back for another week here and another awesome episode. Joined as always by my secret agent, my secret Google agent, Mr. Google Nader himself, Mr. Roger Valdez. What's up, my man?
What's happening? What's happening? Doing good on my side, man. Happy to be here. Another good one. Got another topic that affects everybody, man.
I will agree. It affects everybody.
I was doing the research. Obviously, we do this all the time, so we'll get into it. But this is interesting. This is something everybody should be looking at if you're doing anything online to get a competitive advantage, actually. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. So if you're joining us live, don't hesitate. Throw a little hello, what's up, welcome, something. Thanks for being here in the comments. Let us know you're here. We love knowing who's on live at different times with us. If you got any questions as we go through this, don't hesitate to throw them in the comments as well. We'll be able to kind of help you out, get those answered. But today we're gonna be getting into, I love the way that you put it, something that kind of affects, and I don't know if I actually would use the word affects. I think it's something that can enhance everybody's results.
Enhance or benefit, right? It's like
that's even a better word there too, is benefit everybody. And that is something that I think a lot of people, they know it exists, but they don't really understand what value it's bringing. And what we're talking about is the PAA section of Google. And if you don't know what PAA is, you can go to Google and type in what is PAA and learn about it. Or you can just hang out with us for the next 35, 40 minutes, and you're going to learn a lot more than just what it is, but why it's something as a small business owner, especially service-based. Hello, my real estate folks out there. Why this is going to be beneficial for you to understand how to utilize it to enhance your SEO capabilities. And more importantly, it's given me some ideas for content from time to time, not just from blog side. I stumped on what to post on social media for a day. PAA section is actually a pretty good place to go get a quick little idea on a topic that maybe you didn't think about. So before we get too deep into what it is, all that kind of stuff, what's your thoughts to get us going here?
Yeah, no, this is definitely, if you've been struggling, I mean, just to kind of keep it very simple on who kind of should be listening, I think everybody that has an online footprint, right, that's trying to kind of get clients, build their lead base, and are struggling. I mean, there's so many things out there that you can do. Shawn and I, we always try to kind of come on the podcast and bring you some tips, tricks, trends that you can be doing. Obviously, we work very deeply in the real estate investing space, real estate agents, things like that. So these are big. You want to know what people are asking. And what we're going to be talking about is a little bit of under the hood information that Google literally puts right in front of you. And many times we ignore it. And it's literally telling you the answer on what you should be talking about. So I think that's a good starting point before we get too deep. But yeah, that's kind of a good place to start.
And before you go too deep here, it's funny you bring this up, that they're kind of putting it right in front of us and we're missing the answer.
Yep.
But then I'm over here looking at a stat on some of the research that you and I were doing to kind of bring enough of the education element to this today. And I'm shocked that only 43% of SERPs, search results, right, actually have this. I would think Google would have that a little bit higher, which leads me to believe that maybe it's lacking information to be able to bring that out, which is a benefit to you guys, the small business owners out there. Or I have a feeling we're going to see that grow very soon. And I'm sure Roger's going to talk a little bit today about the value that it brings on one end from a planning standpoint, but the value that it brings if you could get yourself showing up in that people also ask section. In case you just joined us today, we're talking about the PAA, the people also ask section. So go ahead and kind of kick us off here, get us going, explain a little bit more about what is this people also ask section? Why is it, why is this something that Google's been kind of pushing out there? Why is it something we're seeing on it? And then we'll kind of break down the benefits and how they can tackle it, how they can kind of tackle leveraging it.
Absolutely. All right. So kind of let's take the the who, what, why, when, where, and all that stuff. Kind of take it down the line because this is going to be important, I think. So this is very specific to Google searches. Okay. So if you go on Bing, you go on Yahoo, you go on something else search engine. They have their own version, but majority of searches now we know it's a standard, right? So it's like a lot of us, you don't hear go Bing it, right? You hear go Google it. So this is why it's very specific. We need to focus on what's happening on Google. So here, Google is the one that has this PAA section. People also ask. So what this is a search in the search results. Basically, when you put in a keyword and you're searching for a service, a product, maybe even you're asking a general question, right? What happens, I want you guys to pay attention next time you do a Google search. And what you're going to get is you're going to get the ads at the top if there are any ads for that particular query, would be meaning the search. Or if you don't get any ads, you'll get what's called the organic results, which is just the results that is going to give you some what is it? Recommendations is what those results are, right? That Google, it's based on the keyword. But what it does, it starts blending something in there. Starts blending two things. And I want to talk about these two things. One of them being PAA, people also ask. So this to Shawn's point, on average, 50% of the time, you will see a couple organic results, and then you will see some answers, literally a list, almost usually it's between 3 to 4 on average that you'll see. And it's basically trying to answer your question right in front of you without you clicking. And that's it's a whole nother conversation, but that's where Google is heading and why it's testing a lot of these features, because Google's moving to a direction where it can literally be a search with no clicks. You do a search and your answer is right there. You don't even have to click through. And these people also ask it's data information that people are asking around the keyword you just typed in, that hopefully Google's thinking it might answer your question even deeper, right? So it gives you more information. The good thing about this, or the fun thing about it for a marketer, it basically gives you the answer around your keyword of what you should have in your content, right? So when we talk about the what is it, it's a result. It basically it's a deeper result based on the keyword you entered into your search, right? Right? Why is it important? Because if you're a marketer, if you're a business, if you're trying to get more leads, right? If you're trying to get content ideas for your marketing, that is the perfect place to go to find ideas. And not only that, and it's not going to give you just the question, right, and a little bit of the answer. It's literally going to give you the link over to the blog post that has the rest of that information. So if you're smart, right, and you're like, all right, I'm creating an outline for a particular keyword or set of keywords that you're trying to build a page on, and you're trying to come up with content ideas, this is the perfect method. You go ahead, do the search, find your PAA. Basically, people also ask questions, and you put it in your outline. And then if you want ideas on what that content's going to look like, you basically go to each one of those websites, look at that content, and create something similar or even better, right? So I'll go ahead and stop there, Shawn. That's a little bit of insight of where we're going with this.
So I want you to go deeper here in a little bit, because I think the biggest value really comes from me, the marketer of a business, using it for that advantage versus trying to get ranked in there. Can you kind of talk on that piece for a second? Like, is it worth the effort, or is there really even a strategy? You kind of knowing Google's algorithm because you wrote it. Um,
Of
is
course,
there a
right?
way? Is there a way, folks? This is exactly why you got to be working with us, because told you I got the secret weapon on this team. But is there a way, or is there even a strategy? Is this something that we would try to attack and get ranked in, or is our better effort as a marketer, as a business, looking at it from leveraging it for the kind of the value it brings on that side?
Sure, and it's one of those things, and that's why I love SEO, search engine optimization. If you don't know what SEO stands for, but that is the process of trying to figure out decoding Google, right? What is the best method to basically get a piece of content at the top of these rankings for certain keywords? And this is one of the methods. And is there a strategy? Is there something out there? Well, there really isn't enough information out there right now. So even the amount of groups that I associate with, people in the SEO community, I mean, even this, I mean, it's an ongoing battle or conversation or debate around how to do this. So right now, I can honestly say it's still testing, right? And before, when we get close enough to figure it out, guess what's going to happen? They're going to throw another feature at us. So right now, we got to utilize it the best we can. In SEO, that's what it's a moving target. So in my opinion, and how we use it in our strategy is not to try to win those positions, because Google will make the ultimate decision where it's there, who's going to appear there, right? So we can't, there isn't really enough data for us to approach it in that manner. What we do on the other side, we actually approach it in a manner is like, it's utilizing that information to create very strong content for the organic results. And then if we do create strong content, basically whatever we find and we make it better, we have a better percentage or a better chance to then rank in those PAA sections. Okay. So that is the strategy that you should have to try to kind of get there. And I will kind of speak a little bit on the featured snippet as well, Shawn, because I think that's important to bring up here. If people are familiar with the PAA, people also ask sections, but they also kind of start questioning, well, what happened to the featured snippet, and why are we not talking about that? Because that was a method as well, trying to rank for the featured snippet. And if you don't know what that is, that was very similar to the PAA. It was a snippet of the best answer that Google would give you, and it put it at the top there when you put in a search, a keyword into Google. It tried to give you a featured snippet that makes it easy for you to then get your answer very, very fast. Right now, it's
You want to know
showing
what I call
more.
that section?
Go ahead. What is
What
it?
I used to call that featured snippet? That was
What
the
is it?
online that was the online school cheat code. You didn't know the definition of something, you just typed it in, and whatever that featured snippet was, you could kinda, "Oh, that must be what they're talking about. Here's the answer."
There you go, man. That's oh my god, that's awesome. That's awesome, because that's
I used
basically
to get
that's
pissed if
where
I'd
we're
search
heading.
something and it didn't bring back one of those featured snippets. I'd be like, "Ugh, try again."
Well, now you see how I'm not going to use any bad language here, or even I don't want to offend anybody, but that's how society has turned, right? Google knows this, so they don't no longer give you one featured snippet; they give you 3 to 4 answers, right?
And it seems like the
Versions
more you
of
click on them, the more of
It's
them come
never
out.
ending. It's never ending. It continue every time, because you open it up, it starts you with something, right? So, when you actually kinda look at them, you have your 3 to 4 items, and you click to open up more, it continues to go down. I'll be honest with you, there is a number out there I don't wanna put out there because it changes all the time, but it's almost unlimited. It basically opens up, and what it tries to do, it's not like it's giving you more stuff, but what it's giving is giving you variety of different ways to approach that one answer. Now, you might think, well, for a piece of content, what is the benefit for me to keep clicking on there and finding that? Well, guess what? If you're trying to, when you're optimizing correctly for SEO, if you're optimizing a certain page, you should only be optimizing for 1 to 2 keywords, which means all those ideas are golden for you. That means you can use those ideas, a handful of those, to then create that one page, because it's not like you're trying to optimize for 100 keywords. You're trying to optimize one page for 1 to 2 keywords, which all those feature snippets, or I'm sorry, I'm even making a mistake. All those PAA questions in there are valuable for you to create that piece of content.
I had another question. It'll come back to me here in a second. So you can kind of continue on. I know I kind of interrupted you
Sure.
there where your train of thought was going, but there was another question that I had around it'll come back. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. So let's kind of continue in that route. It's like, all right, we're starting to kind of look at the benefits, right? And I'm looking at it from a marketer SEO standpoint, right? So that's basically what we are. I'm going to stop because Shawn's waving his arms
You
over here. He
you
has
got
that
it in
look. I
my
don't want
head.
you to forget. Go for it, man.
As soon as you said that, it triggered. I told you it would come right back. So we used to, and I know we kind of still talk about this one a lot with our clients. There's a free, well, it's free for a couple searches a day, I think it is. Um, but that's answerthepublic.com. We've talked about that before on this show. I just want to throw it out. so everybody understands what we're talking about here. This is kind of like Google's version of the answer the public kind of element, right? Because it's you're typing XYZ and Google's trying to pull in and saying, hey, based on this, people have also asked this variation of it, or they've also asked this continuing kind of question around that, which is very similar to what happens over on the answer the public uh, side of things, right? We could throw something in on answer the public. We're going to get a bunch of different things back that are basically a kind of a compilation of things that have been searched online around this particular keyword or topic or question, and what are the other things that the public's asking on that. So I guess it wasn't so much a question around that; it was more a statement to make sure I'm even saying the right thing. Uh,
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. You kind of nailed it. You kind of nailed it there with bringing up that software, because I also want to talk about softwares that you can utilize to then cut the time or the effort to find a lot of these PAA or feature snippet questions. Because what you're looking for, kind of the key here is to find information, whether it be topics, keywords, ideas, right? That will save you time, but that are actually being searched by people. What's the point of you coming up with a great idea that you think people are searching, right? Keyword that you think that are searching, and it's really not being searched. So this right here, these methods, these things that we're mentioning are, and especially the PAA, right? People also ask questions. Those are major because now you have the under the hood answer. What is under the hood? What is Google kind of trying to get people or what are people asking on Google, right? It's right there. So you mentioned the people, I'm sorry, the Answer the Public software. And if you go there, answerthepublic.com, it's a great software. We also, I mean, you have to have an arsenal of tools to kind of do this right, to find the right information. So answerthepublic.com is an excellent website. That's combining Google and a lot of different search engines and putting that same concept into one report, right? But it costs, you can run a couple searches right there, some research, but it does hit a point where you have to pay for the software, right? To kind of pay to play, in other words. So what we're showing you here is you can literally go to a Google search, put in your keyword, and I'm gonna go as far as more than 50% of the time, because we're talking about 50% of the whole overall searches, right? Every time I do a search, it's very rare I do not get the PAA questions. So that's something that we're looking at here, where you can actually jump in, do the search, get your questions right, create content. But not only that, you can find keywords around there. And then you can go as far as using not just Answer the Public, but there are two, I want to kind of give you two extensions or Chrome extensions that you can utilize to then just literally put in a keyword and strip all the different valuable PAA questions. And one of them is called Keywords Everywhere. It's a free Google Chrome extension. It does other things as well, but one of them, it gives you a quick snippet or a quick snapshot of your the PAA questions. And then the other one that's awesome, I like to use this one as well, it's called SEO Minion. And as it is another Chrome extension, also does a very similar job. But it's good to kind of have a variety, because remember what Shawn and I just said, you can actually click on the people also ask, and it's unlimited. It keeps giving you results, right? It keeps opening up more and more. What these tools do one step further, they try to give you the best options because they are SEO tools. So they try to give you the most popular ones, right? In their opinion, they have their own algorithms, their own kind of way to show, but these are good starting points for you to start creating content as well.
And I know on a podcast, it's a little hard to kind of explain how sweet these tools are, just how easy it is to use it. So if you're sitting out there and you're listening, you're like, okay, that's cool, Roger, but I don't understand how the heck to use it. Good news is we can help you out with that. There's a couple ways. Number one, just reach out to us, get on our list. Roger and I, this is a plan as we look into 2022 to be doing more workshops for you guys to be able to go deeper into these topics, right? We bring up a lot of stuff on these podcasts that I understand would be a lot better if Roger was standing at the front of the room with some slides and his favorite elements, all the eyeballs on him kind of thing, uh, going through it. I slightly joke. He's getting really good
Yes,
at it,
thanks.
folks. He's
Yes,
getting
thanks,
good
Shawn.
at it.
I love standing on stage,
He
right?
does. He does. I can't get the microphone away from him anymore when he's up there. But we will be looking at doing that as we roll into 2022. A little bit more of these workshops, a little bit more of this style, but then there's also, we run training calls like this deep into these type of topics for our clients in some of our base packages to help you guys out. So there's a number of ways you guys can learn this, but definitely go check these tools out. And I don't know, if you ping Roger enough times, maybe it'll force him to do some tutorial videos so we can actually start getting some of those on the YouTube channel, so that we can make him YouTube famous, and I can call him the Yuganator instead of just the Googlenator.
That's next level right there. I'm
That
ready
is
for it.
next
So if we
level.
start getting some pings, I think I'm gonna go for it. It's like I actually have one that I did last night. So got some
He
stuff
did.
coming your way.
He did. So anything else on that before I go? I don't want to get you too far off track, because I got a couple other questions I want to throw out. Play devil's advocate here for a second, I guess.
Sure. No, I think I'm going to leave it there. I want to make sure that we do reiterate how important these are. It's a simple concept, and we wanted to keep it nice and short to not confuse anybody, because this is something, you have an existing website, right? And everything is good, and you're trying to figure out how to improve it. We just gave you a really, really good strategy. Pick a page that you consider as one that you want to rank. Pick 1 to 2 keywords on that page that you want to rank. Let me give you an example, right? Maybe you're a real estate investor and you have city pages, right? So you have something like "we buy houses in your location," doesn't matter, or "sell your house fast in your location." Type that into Google. You're going to get some PAA questions that then you can append to the existing content that you have on there, outline, right? So now you can, because I always say, the way you can add more values, add more content, answer more questions. And a lot the questions I get from the clients, right, or people that I'm coaching, is, "I don't know what to write." Well, there you go. I just gave you a strategy.
So to simplify, take a tactic out of my own book here. To simplify, short answer, yes, it's worth putting a little bit of focus to this. When I say focus to this, put a little bit of focus around this to try and get ranked in that people also ask section. I mean, at the end of the day, there's really no bad outcome, in my opinion. It could bring more traffic to the site, right? To what Roger's saying, though, if you're not optimized well on the page, chances are you're not going to get there. But number two, let's say you get there, if the page structure, if the conversion elements behind that, right? Some of the past episodes that we've done around overall website structure, the user experience, a lot of these other components that go into it, it won't matter if you rank in that section and get the traffic out of somebody clicking in there over to your site. I go back to the analogy of the storefront. I don't care if I can put 5,000 people in your store today. If your store sells hot dogs and I'm pushing everybody in there that wants to buy a taco, you're not going to sell very many hot dogs, right? So you've got to make sure that what you're actually optimizing and attracting the people in for is really what you can deliver on and what you can do. So I would kind of think on that side. So I don't really have any more direct questions on this one for you. I think this one was pretty cut and dry. I personally, if you don't have anything else to say, I personally say leverage the crap out of it from a
So
marketing
absolutely.
standpoint, right? Especially your offline marketing or your off Google marketing. When we start looking at social media, we start looking at video content. I know this is something our clients ask us all the time. What the heck should I post about? What should I do an article about? What should what kind of content should I be putting out there? This is a phenomenal way to kind of gain some insight to it. And as a marketer, it's kind of like gold sitting in front of you. Go answer some of the
Absolutely.
questions that other people are also asking. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. I'll even throw in there, there's in marketing, there's so many things that you can be doing, and if you kind of ever check this out, and you kind of look at, our mascot and everything, it's an octopus, right? Because it has all those different arms, those marketing, channels that you can use. And when you look at those marketing channels, it gets overwhelming, right? Because you have your website, you're on, you're on your website that's going to be on Google and all that, but then you have your social media, and you have your video stuff, and it gets really overwhelming on what to talk about, what kind of topics to put out there. But once again, you can leverage PAA questions to then do your social media posts. You can put, grab little snippets and put them on there and make your posts out of that. And you create a blog post. And not only that, you can create a video off of that and interlink all that stuff. And you just create a nice little interlinking matrix that will push your rankings up as well, right? And that can even improve your ability or improve your percentage of you being in those results with the PAA, right? And the other thing that I want to put out there is video. I don't want to leave video out. PAA questions, people also ask questions, come in many different forms. So not only is it just a piece of content that's answering a question, it could be almost like if it's for a hotel or whatnot, it can be kind of little slots right there giving you different reviews for hotels or whatever it might be. But even video is something that I started seeing here in the recent months. Is when I do the PAA and it makes sense for the search, I actually get videos that pop up, YouTube videos. Okay, so that is another thing that should not be left out, that you can take those PAA questions, and if you don't see any videos on there, and in most cases you won't, be honest with you, you just won't. That is an opportunity or a topic that you should be putting on your YouTube channel and just filling it up.
Oh, you mean like this video right here?
Exactly. That's where it's going.
This video that's streaming live to YouTube right now that's going to live there forever around this topic of what the heck is people also ask.
Exactly.
That very easily could rank for that question.
We literally just put ourselves in the game, right? If you don't try, if you don't create a piece of content, if you don't get in there, you're not in the game. Right now, Shawn and I, for this topic, doing this podcast, syndicating it over to those platforms, we're in the game now. Now we have an opportunity. We just went from non-existent for this topic to having an opportunity to rank in the PAA. Simple as that.
So with that being said, some action items I'm going to leave some folks with, especially my real estate folks out there. I did see a comment come in from Sir Mr. Jim Perko. That is not his profile photo. That is definitely his Halloween costume this year. I love what he said. Tune in to knowledgeable real estate investors sharing information here in the Ohio Mahoning Valley. That's where I'm originally from. Jim was actually the secretary of our RIA group and board member at the state level. So good to see you on here, Jim. But I love the real estate folks, and this is what the action item I'm going to leave for you guys. A lot of you wish your prospects, the distressed sellers out there that you guys are trying to target, you wish they understood things like, what is the cash buying process that everybody talks about? What is the process around foreclosures in your market? How to navigate probate? What are my options during bankruptcy? How to sell a home with significant damage? How to get rid of tenants out of my property? How to sell a house with a tenant in it? Right? There's all these questions that you guys are probably saying, man, I get asked this a lot, or I wish people knew more of this information so that when I talk to them, I don't got to continually explain all of this stuff. Go jump on Google, type these in, and see what the results are. See if that people also ask section pops up with some stuff, and start jotting down. Pick one of them for right now out of the gate and start writing down what are some of those commonly asked questions in there. What are some of the stuff that other people are asking, and make a kind of a game plan that over the next couple of weeks, you're going to start to create some content around those pieces. If you feel really comfortable on video, I am going to highly encourage you, jump the heck on a camera, do the video, and also write about it, right? I know Roger just talked about, we put ourselves in the game for this video right here because the way we stream it, the way that we do stuff, the post-production behind it. But the other way that we bring that is we also write some verbal content, right? Text-based content that goes to the actual site that this video will also be embedded on. And that's giving us another asset that can also rank simply because of what we wrote, almost like a blog article that we just happen to embed this video on. So there's a number of ways you guys can kind of capitalize on it. That's why I said at the beginning of this, PAA for me as the marketer, somebody that's thinking more from lead generation standpoint, not just optimize and get to a certain spot on Google. This is a phenomenal way to have the content that I need to talk about on a consistent basis to sound intelligent and sound knowledgeable like I am in the industry, right? but at least I'm speaking to the things that I know people are asking. Anything you want to end kind of like leave everybody with today?
Yeah, now I think you did it to me this time where you just kind of landed some gold bars
Finally.
there. And now I got my brain going and we're at the end. We're trying to kind of end this, keep it nice and consolidated. So what I'm going to do is maybe I'm going to open up a topic for next week, right? So all this PAA, I want everybody to go out there. I want you to do some Google search. I want you to find it, right? I want you to get familiar with the PAA. Put some stuff that's in your industry. Like I said, we work with a lot of real estate investors. Go in there. Shawn just gave you a ton of ideas there, not just with this general we buy houses, sell your house fast, but the process and foreclosure, bankruptcy, probates, all those different questions that you think people are asking or you've been asked before. Look at the results, because what I want to get into, how can you utilize those? We gave you ideas, very general ideas, but let's get more strategic next week. Let's start talking about how we're going to utilize the PAA in our silos. I'll leave it at that because that's a whole nother conversation. We can take that into next week.
So, team members, speaking to our team right now, when you guys listen back to this to build out all the assets, go ahead and mark down that as next week's episode so that we make sure that we cover that one next week. And Roger and I don't forget about it, which we do. We do that a lot. I know there's been times I've said, hey, that'll be another episode. And I don't think we've ever gotten back to that one yet. So.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one because we can utilize all this information. This is part of our playbook right here. So it's nothing that's new to us, something that we use. We just, when we put it out there, we try to kind of get people to take action on these one items here. But what I want to do this time is definitely follow it up for those of you that are following along, trying to kind of see how you're going to utilize this now. And, kind of you're creating it, you're taking action. Let's kind of help you out. Let's try to kind of help you now take that information you took from today and then put it into action in a very powerful structure on your website called a silo.
Absolutely. And if there's other topics that you'd like us to get into, hit us up on social media at Top Results Consulting on Facebook and Instagram. You can send DMs right there. Myself, the team, will pay attention to it. We'll get those into the flow. There are a number of times that Roger and I sit here and go, hey, this coming week, what do you think for a topic? Because we haven't heard from somebody in a little while and we're not really sure what you guys want to hear from. We want to make sure we're bringing you the content you want to hear, as well as making sure that we're bringing you guys timely updates and things that are going on with the trends and the different buzz around the web, hence the name. So I think that's it for today. I think we're good. Perfect. Well, with that being said, folks, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this or listening to it later. Do us a favor. Leave us a thumbs up, a like, comment, something. Engage with this some way. If you're listening to this out there on one of the podcast players, give it a rate, a review. It just helps us get the message out to more and more folks so that more and more people can take advantage, learn, grow, scale their business from a digital marketing standpoint. We'll see you guys back here next week with another episode with a follow-up to this episode. So we make sure we get that topic in there. But as I tell you guys every week, enjoy. From Roger, take action, because I know that's what he wants to say. And here's to your success. See you guys later.